This is you. You hold absolute power over an ocean of black gold with tens of billions of barrels of oil resting right in the palm of your hand. You use this supreme authority to transform a barren, scorching desert into an eternal paradise. You don't just build ordinary cities. You fund unimaginable mega projects, constructing giant artificial rivers that cut straight across the endless sea of sand, so your people can live like literal gods. You have wiped the very concept of poverty off the map, using massive stacks of dollars reeking of crude oil. You swell with pride as you look at the national reports. The charts clearly declare that 100% of the population is perfectly happy. Every single need and material desire is lavishly granted by you long before they even have to ask. But behind this flawless utopia, another highly classified number is hidden in the shadows. It is a chilling statistic, and you are the only person alive who knows its true terrifying meaning: 0.00%. You are born in the middle of the barren, unforgiving deserts of North Africa. Your childhood is defined by violent sandstorms, whipping your face a scorching heat that burns your throat dry, and meager meals, knowing full well there will never be a second helping. But the extreme poverty is not the only thing tormenting your soul. What truly makes your blood boil is looking up and seeing the corrupt, wretched ruling class of your country. They are greedy, completely useless parasites. Watching them spout empty, hollow words about tribal honor while mercilessly trampling on the common people reveals a sickening hypocrisy. That deep-seated outrage plants a dark obsession in your mind, turning your bitter resentment into raw, ruthless ambition. You decide to fight back, and your first weapon is education. You throw yourself into your studies to strip away the lowly peasant label and systematically maneuver your way toward the halls of power. You devour historical texts and military strategies about revolutionary movements, learning exactly how to shatter a throne from the ground up. You enlist in the military, planting your roots deep within the armed forces. You carefully recruit men who share your exact same rage, forging an unbreakable brotherhood of like-minded soldiers to create a shadow alliance. After years of meticulous preparation, the day finally arrives. You violently overthrow the rotten government, crush the old regime, and seize absolute control, officially crowning yourself the supreme leader of the entire nation. Having seized absolute power, you do not crown yourself king. Yet you wield supreme authority to dictate the destiny of the nation. However, the triumphant illusions you once conjured are swiftly and brutally shattered by reality. The nation you have just inherited is nothing more than a crumbling heap of post-war ashes. Its infrastructure is utterly devastated, and its gasping economy, battered by foreign influences, spirals into decline. Looking upon your ragged people who exhaust themselves grazing their herds on the arid nomadic lands only to still face starvation, you come to a profound realization. The fault lies not with the people, but with a broken, shattered system that denies them the very right to survive. Then a pivotal turning point emerges. Crude oil erupts from the depths of the earth. Exports explode, and overnight the nation becomes staggeringly wealthy, but only on paper. In reality, this colossal influx of wealth only tears the social fabric further apart. Class division deepens drastically. While a privileged few swim in oceans of money, the vast majority is left in abject misery. It is this glaring injustice that truly opens your eyes. You realize the ultimate truth: the country does not lack wealth. The wealth is simply flowing into the wrong hands. In that defining moment, your ambition ascends to an unprecedented height. You come to view the oil as an omnipotent master key. You decide not to merely hoard power. Instead, you unleash this massive fortune to completely reconstruct the nation. You do this not out of pity, but because you deeply comprehend a ruthless law of power. By converting resources into wealth, and that wealth into food for the masses, you will secure their unwavering trust. And by harnessing that unwavering faith, your uncrowned throne will be solidly forged and fortified by the absolute devotion of the people. You clearly see the rotten core of the problem, and you do not just stop at mere thought. You take violent, decisive action. You snatch back the precious lifeblood of your nation. You ruthlessly strip the massive oil profits right out of the greedy hands of foreign corporations and entrenched domestic oligarchs. You refuse to let that wealth bleed out invisibly anymore. For the very first time, you are holding the reins of a truly colossal force to cement your unchallenged dominance and fundamentally alter the nation. But you are smart enough to understand a brutal reality. Real power does not just come from sitting on a mountain of cash, it comes from exactly how you weaponize it. You decide to throw your massive fortune directly at your people. You lavish them with things that once seemed like impossible luxuries, slowly turning them into everyday rights. Electricity flows freely across the land. You build sprawling cities, modern schools, and highly accessible housing. And you do not just stop there. You pump the oil revenue straight into the veins of their daily lives. It is no longer just a cold number on a corporate balance sheet. Fuel becomes incredibly cheap, making transportation accessible to everyone. Newly paved roads completely erase the isolation of the past, seamlessly connecting raw agriculture to heavy manufacturing and modern services. You engineer a thriving society on their own native soil. For the first time in history, the black gold is not just feeding a faceless economy. It is directly serving the flesh and blood of your citizens. Their lives drastically change, proving that your words are not just empty political promises. Right then, you secure the ultimate prize, their absolute, unquestionable trust. The masses finally believe that the highest power is no longer ignoring them, but actively pulling the strings to elevate their existence. Their initial support rapidly hardens into deep respect. For the first time, you feel the intoxicating rush of literally buying the loyalty of an entire nation, shoving food directly into the mouths of the peasants. In many regions, that respect morphs into blind fanatical loyalty. You understand the brutal equation perfectly. When you control the resources, you have the money. When you inject those resources into their lives, you buy their trust. And when you own their trust, you hold absolute terrifying power. A massive euphoric rush of triumph shoots straight down your spine. Feeling like a worshipped savior, a wicked, triumphant smirk slowly spreads across your face. The sweet, intoxicating taste of power captivates you entirely. Yet as you sit upon that throne, you are gripped by an obsessive, haunting paranoia. Out there, not everyone wishes to see you succeed. External forces grow deeply resentful of your absolute control over the resources. Old entrenched interests have been abruptly severed. The massive oil revenues you have monopolized no longer flow through their familiar corrupt channels. This mounting pressure becomes palpable, even if the threats remain unseen. From within, the situation is even more treacherous. Not everyone is truly loyal or satisfied with your reign. Some secretly covet your position, plotting to usurp you. You come to the chilling realization that not every danger wears a visible face. And in that moment, you change. From a generous savior, you transform, beginning to tightly police your inner circle. You tighten your iron grip on the most critical asset of all, oil, virtually the sole source capable of generating wealth and sustaining the entire economy. You evolve into a tyrant who commands it. You are no longer just controlling a resource. You are controlling the very lifeblood of the nation. Gradually, absolutely everything must pass through you. To do business requires your explicit permission. To access resources means navigating your heavily guarded system. To progress, one must strictly follow the path you have dictated. The citizens are stripped of their choices and their voices. To survive, they need the resources that rest solely in the palm of your hand. A crippling dependency is forged not out of desire, but out of a sheer lack of alternatives. Those who dare to oppose you quietly disappear. Dissenting voices are entirely silenced, never to be clearly heard. The people are trapped, unable to move forward, yet unable to retreat. They stand in silent endurance, suffering as though bound by invisible chains. Ultimately, you have covertly engineered a totalitarian system, one perfectly designed in advance to serve your own anxieties and deep-seated paranoia. Initially, your system operates almost flawlessly. The citizens are utterly dependent, society remains stable, and your power stands unchallenged. Looking down upon it all, you palpably feel the absolute control resting in your hands, supremely confident that every action you take is justified. You are arrogant and triumphant, not because you have verified your success, but because no one has ever possessed the strength to deny it. But then fractures begin to appear small, scattered and almost invisible from both within and without. You see them, yet you dismiss them, refusing to perceive them as genuine threats. In the process of expanding your sphere of influence, you morph into a ruler with bottomless greed. A single territory is no longer enough. You are unsatisfied ruling over just one realm and begin to harbor ambitions of encroaching upon the outside world. You desire more, seeking to monopolize and dominate far beyond your borders. You begin to sponsor various militant movements and airstrikes campaigns you genuinely believe to be liberation struggles against obstructive forces. But the world does not see things the way you do. Certain actions are condemned, linked directly to armed factions and the instigation of war. The consequences swiftly follow. The ultimate punishment is the severe isolation of your nation. Diplomatic relations gradually contract and external trust completely evaporates. You are hit with crippling sanctions leading to total embargoes. The flow of money is violently choked off and international trade stagnates into paralysis. The very resources that once served as the bedrock of your power are now severely restricted. The national economy is devastated, no longer just fluctuating, but plunging into a catastrophic decline. This widespread impact strikes directly at the heart of the populace. Wildly fluctuating prices cause opportunities to dwindle rapidly. The already fragile citizens grow increasingly suffocated, and their mounting frustration becomes glaringly apparent. Initially, when you look down upon these isolated, fragmented reactions, you disdainfully extinguish them out of mere habit. Small gatherings are forcibly dispersed. Scattered protests are swiftly and brutally crushed. But this time, it does not stop. Small groups swell into massive crowds. Voices merge into a colossal wave, amplified by the media and fueled by the inspiration of the sweeping uprisings across the Middle East and North Africa, the Arab Spring storming across your nation. News goes viral. Images of defiance spread like wildfire. This time, they are no longer afraid. The people rise up, demanding justice, demanding change. The country spirals into utter chaos, shattering your iron-fisted control and erupting into prolonged bloody civil warfare against the state, inflicting immense suffering upon innocent civilians. The totalitarian system you built, founded entirely on absolute control and forced dependency, is no longer strong enough to stand. You weaken. As the situation drastically escalates, external powers are compelled to intervene. The world refuses to merely stand by and watch. Under the banner of civilian protection, NATO is forced to engage, and the balance of power shifts instantaneously. You lose the absolute control that once belonged to you piece by piece, until finally you are no longer the one who dictates the ending. From being the undisputed master of a nation, you find yourself unable to even control your own survival. Your destiny drifts helplessly toward a tragic, bitter demise, a violent betrayal of fate that fills you with agonizing resentment. From a transcendent, arrogant conqueror, you are reduced to a state of crippling anxiety and raw primal fear. As your power evaporates, the blind faith of your people vanishes along with it. You begin a violent descent from the peak of your golden throne. You no longer command a sovereign state. You are left clinging to fragmented, crumbling territories and a handful of unstable, dwindling loyalists. Delusional and desperate, you scream hoarsely into the void, barking out pathetic orders as if this were merely a controllable setback. But the mask has fallen. You are no longer the symbol of change for your people. Instead, you have become the very emblem of what they wish to escape, discard, and eradicate. For the first time in your life, you taste the suffocating poison of absolute isolation. With no allies, zero trust, and no clear way out, the mass defections begin. Those who once stood behind you vanish. The elite guards who swore to protect you simply desert. Looking out at the world, you shudder as you witness the ruthless chaos closing in. In a final desperate attempt to flee from opposing forces, your convoy is ambushed by a pre-coordinated strike. Gone are the lavish palaces and the ironclad protection. There you stand, staring at the raw, brutal reality. You run with the posture of a leader, but you are met only by faces filled with absolute rage. The tragedy reaches its final act. Amidst the chaos, you are captured by rebel forces. You look upon a grieving world that no longer belongs to you. Your glorious era comes to a violent end as you are seized and held in captivity. In those final moments before you are tortured to death, you cast one last look at the world you once trampled underfoot. Your arrogant ego shatters into pieces. The moment you are captured, you are no longer the one who gives orders. You are the one whose fate is decided by others. For the first time, you see yourself through the eyes of the masses, not as a leader and not as a symbol. Your death is not merely the end of a human life. It signifies the termination of an entire era for a nation born from the hands of a tyrant. The ultimate truth is finally revealed. Power built on manipulation can elevate you to the heavens, but its own cruel weight will eventually be the very thing that grinds you into dust. Your brutal death does not bring an end to the nightmare. The country you once ruled with an iron fist remains plunged in bloody chaos. The deep agonizing scars you left behind refuse to fade, lingering like a dark curse over the desert. Supreme power simply changes hands among new factions, but the endless suffering of the innocent remains unchanged. Years later, when people speak your name, it is never out of reverence or respect. You are remembered merely as a dark cautionary tale, a chilling warning that eventually evolves into the very definition of tyranny. You fought a relentless war to build a paradise, only to become the exact monster who burned it to the ground.